Do you just want a rich white man, or do you want a human being that you can work with? Do you want a human being that you can love each other and love on each other? You know, like those are the kind of things I always ask myself, because I'm like, at this particular point in my life, I don't think being rich is the goal. I think being wealthy and healthy is the goal. Not being rich for me. I don't know.
I like that. Not being rich is the goal. Being wealthy
Yeah,
and
and healthy.
healthy
Yeah, no, that's
is
the goal.
and you can be wealthy without being rich,
Yeah.
because one is money and one is
Soul,
soul and
body,
fulfillment. But
mind.
that soul and the mind, how much of your groceries is it going to pay?
I'm a king. Yes.
Hello, and welcome to the African Narrative Podcast. Today we are taking a deep dive into the African experience in Europe, where we basically explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between of just being an African in Europe. I am Christine Amolo Nyotta, and today I'm wearing two hats. Not only am I your host for this conversation, but I'm also a part of it. So today's marathon episode, we have the one and only Femi, who has been living in Europe for a little over 30 years or even more. And we are spanning generations and perspective. Yeah, I've been in Europe for a little over 3 years, so I'm coming into this conversation with the fresh eyes of someone who's just still adapting and learning every day, while my co-speaker has lived through so much change. We're diving deep into issues of racial bias, gender identity, social integration, and how we as Africans fit into European society in a way that is often or are often not so visible. We'll also tackle job opportunities, the stereotypes we face, dating and relationship, and what it means to navigate Europe with both the burden and the beauty of being nothing but African. So, whether you've been in Europe for just a few months, or several decades, or even you're just curious about the African experience here, there'll be definitely something in this conversation that resonates with you. Subscribe to the African Narrative Podcast and Africa Web TV so you never get to miss an episode. So sit back, get comfortable, take a cup of tea, a glass of wine, beer also, and let's take this journey together as we unpack the African experience in Europe. So, Femi, hi.
Hi,
You're looking
Christine.
so nice in your African attire as usual.
You're not looking bad yourself with your almost Maasai
Yes,
outfit today.
we have to represent where we come from.
Yes.
Auf jeden Fall, that's what we say in German, just to mean like, of course, yeah? So when did you come to Europe?
Oh, that's a. I'm a dinosaur
Wow.
when it comes to coming to Europe. I've been living in Europe for 35 years now. Spent 2 or 3 years in Germany, then moved to the Netherlands.
Wow. That's impressive though.
Yeah.
Because like Germany speaks German, Netherlands speak, we say
Dutch. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that must have been hard, like with learning different languages here and there.
Yeah. It was actually easier for me to learn German than to learn Dutch.
Wow.
So it was easier to learn Deutsch than to learn Dutch.
Yeah,
In Germany those days, people will tell you they don't speak English.
yeah, that's
So you are basically left to yourself, because if you want to survive there, you have to speak the language.
true. That's true.
So you spoke the language. I could speak enough, let's say,
German.
passable German within half a year that I was there. And by the time I left Germany, I could speak German on a good level.
Okay.
Even though I've forgotten most of it now, because I think the last time I actually spoke German in a conversation was more than 30 years ago.
So I would say I'm a toddler in Europe, basically, because personally live in Germany, and I've been in German for now a little over 3 years, because I just had my 3 years anniversary. So,
Yeah.
and we're gonna start with discrimination in Germany, like racial discrimination and societal bias.
You are having so much problem with that word.
I know, right?
I heard you during the introduction. Societal.
Yeah, good.
Societal. Yeah,
Societal.
we all
Yes,
have
please.
words like that that just
FYI,
make us joke.
FYI, yes, English is like my mother tongue, but don't forget, in Africa we have so many languages, especially in Kenya. I'm Kenyan, so my mother tongue also affects my articulation. So that is part and parcel of life. But what was it like when you were coming to Europe at the time?
In terms of racial discrimination, in the beginning you don't actually notice. The first 2, 3, 4 weeks you are all impressed by everything that you've seen, the building, the beautiful cars, the people, and you just like, wow, you are here. It's in terms of how it's built, it's different from Africa. So you are just
Because,
being impressed by everything. And then when the human interactions begin, that's when you are like, did I hear that right? What people say, their perception of who you are as an
yeah.
African, it's so much different than who you are. Somebody says this, and I usually did not, in beginning, I didn't really understand that.
Yeah.
That person said, I actually realized I was black when I came to Europe.
That's true. Yeah, like
When I first heard that I was like, what? You knew you were black all your life.
Yeah.
No, but these are things you take for granted
yeah,
until
true.
people start to look at you like you are an object in a museum. And some look at you with love, some look at you with hatred, some look at you like, yeah, with curiosity, and some look at you like, where did you drop from?
The thing you've said about curiosity, because sometimes someone will basically say something, and in your head you're wondering, is this person really curious, or is this person trying to discriminate me? Because I remember one time I was basically doing my job at work, and working as a nursing assistant and things like that, and then one Asian lady came as I was doing my job, telling a patient that I was handling at the time, oh, look at that girl, she's very beautiful. Look at her black skin color. I'm like, okay, should I take it as a compliment? Like, why are you bringing like the color in this conversation? You said I'm beautiful. Okay, thank you. So you even touch my skin. Like, oh, look at that black color.
Did they ask?
They
to
did
talk?
ask. So I was like, okay, how am I supposed to take this? And I'm like, okay, let me not like entertain negative energy. Let me just say this person is just curious. Let me just assume. Let me be ignorant for now, And someone asked me one time, is your butt real?
Is your what?
Butt real? I have a
Okay.
big bum bum.
Yeah, so is your butt real? Like, did you go to Brazil to have a butt
like,
lift?
Did you do BBL? Like, did you do BBL? And then someone's like, oh, are your lips like from are you born with those lips, or do you do injection? Like, I'm like, okay, are you curious, or what are you trying to say? I'm like, I don't know what to think about such type of conversation. And also, like, you find, I don't know if you guys had it back in the days, and it happens to me a lot. Like, when I go to a restaurant, one time I went to a restaurant, I actually paid, and it was this street food. Yeah, it was street food. I went, I paid, it's my money, I paid, and then like 3 minutes later came, so to say, white people behind me, and they were served before me, yet I paid before them. And when I wanted to speak and the person realized that I'm speaking, because I actually asked a question, am I a tree or a person? I just had to ask him, like, yo, am I a tree or a person? Because I was standing there more like around 10 more minutes, and those guys were served before I was. So I was like, is that discrimination, or that was just a general mistake? But I couldn't say it was a general mistake because I was standing right in front of the counter, because this is street food you're buying. So I was like, okay, I don't know, like, we perceive discrimination in different ways.
Yep.
I don't know if it was the same with you back in the days or it was different.
I hear you, and everything you've said is true. And look, discrimination is how you feel it,
That's
how you feel treated. It might not be the intention of the person who is discriminated, but if you feel like somebody is harassing you or disrespecting you, then what counts is your feeling at that moment. But what I want to put it in context, you have been living for 3 years in Europe. I've been living for over 30 years in Europe. There is always stages. I hear what you say, and one of your questions is, how do I know whether somebody is actually discriminating or is just curious or those kind of stuff? When you live longer in Europe, you know how to decipher their codes, because these things are wrapped in codes.
wow.
Somebody could just come to you and say, "Oh, I like your hair," and you will learn as time goes on to know what the intention is. I like that where we are, there are a lot of
But
birds just
Minding their
minding their own business but disturbing our own business, but that's the way it is. In any case, you will have a way to notice, to note who has bad intentions and who has good intentions. Also, I have the tools to deal with them, because I'm just like, where am I going to spend my energy? Do I spend my energy on somebody who is stupid?
yeah,
Or do I spend my energy on somebody who is curious?
yeah, that's true.
Do you have some experiences you want to share in the 3 years
Oh
you're
God,
in Europe?
I've shared a few experiences. I think I've had quite a lot of experiences, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just move to the next, like, because the kind of experiences I've had, even like, if I want to say, even like in the dating scene, you can actually feel like your partner is actually being discriminative. And
Oh.
yeah, like I don't know, they just say things and you're like triggered. You're like, what the hell? Like, what the hell?
Is it saying things discriminatory on purpose, or saying those things out of ignorance?
It can be. I would say sometimes it's out of ignorance, and sometimes I would say it's just to test the waters. And someone has a shallow mindset. So I don't know, we can blame it on the educational system. We can blame it on the kind of TV they see here as well. Because I, as a African, when I see the advertisement they make about African countries, I'm shocked. I'm like, yo, this thing is too negative for me to see. Like, that is not, yeah, everywhere there's the beauty of every place. That's what I say. You think like poverty is not also in Europe or in the United States? Poverty is everywhere. You think that robbers are not everywhere? Robbers are everywhere. So this thing of discriminating, oh, but Africa is so bad, we cannot go to travel there, oh, it's like this and that. I just feel like that's stereotyping.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by when you live as long as I've lived here, you will develop certain tools.
Yeah,
You know who to ignore, who to educate,
that's true.
who to kind of give the side eye to. So you know all of those people, and in many cases, some of us don't just want to dissipate our energy
Yeah,
on anything anymore, because it keeps going on. The older generation, say, let's say my generation of Europeans that I met when I was here, they were on that level. And then you think, okay, the new generation, younger generation, they have more tools of information,
Yeah.
internet and all of that. But then you still hear certain things. Then you have the politicians, the press, who look. I'm living in the Netherlands. The public broadcaster here has a total of one correspondent in Africa.
Wow.
Africa is the
It's a whole
second largest continent in the whole world. You can put the whole of Europe in Africa 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
So you have in Brussels, the same broadcaster has just in Brussels in Belgium, which is just a country of 10 million people. Lagos, where I was born, has 3 times that population. They have more than one correspondent there. So how do you expect them to give the right information
Yeah.
and in the right context? Of course, there are things that are happening in Africa,
Yeah, of course.
but those things are not happening in Europe.
They are.
But you and me know that. But also, the irony is, even the news we get in Africa is sanitized.
Yeah.
So
true.
we are all growing up thinking Europe is one way. And some of us who have had either, whether I should say the privilege or actually the misfortune of coming to Europe, we've been able to see that we've been told a very big lie.
That's true. So let's talk about job opportunities and work experience. Like,
So let's start with you.
oh yeah.
I know I know you already from Nairobi, Kenya, where you come from. I know you had a great studies there.
Yeah, I did.
You had a university education. Then you moved to Germany. What are the prospects? You studied international relations.
Yeah, I did.
So, are you working as an international relation expert in Germany?
Oh Lord, have mercy. I would just say at the moment I'm not. I'm actually doing something different because I feel like in Europe, to be honest, they tend to diminish our education system or what people have studied. And it's so sad because most of the countries that were colonized by European, let's say Britain, the education system is actually the Englishman education system. So what am I saying in that terms? I'm saying like we learn more about them than they learn about us. And I remember like having that discussion with my teacher when I was doing my German class, yeah. And I basically asked him in a topic, because once you get to a higher level German, you have to learn how to discuss like difficult topics also. And some of them come as an exam in what we say sprechen, like speaking. So I asked him in one of the topics that we had, like, what do you actually learn about Africa? And you know what answer he gave me? He was very honest. He said, unfortunately, Christine, we learn about poverty in Africa. We actually don't know even the African heroes. They are not written in our books. But yet, in our books, when we learn history, for example, it's their names that were written there. Our own heroes, we don't praise them as much.
Yeah.
So, coming to Europe, you find that there's this thing that they have to do the translation of your academic paper, and even that you are at edge because you're not sure, okay, what result is coming out of here? Am I going back to school for an year or two, or are they going to recognize it fully, or what percentage are they going to recognize? So you're still on the edge. So I managed to get my papers recognized, but then the funny thing is someone is asking you for experience. Hello? I'm in Europe. So
Just 3 years?
just 3 years. Let me just say it's hard because most of us Africans, let me not say black people, let me just say Africans. Most of us Africans, we come here, some come with a doctorate. I remember one of my neighbors, he studied chemistry and he's a doctor in chemistry. He has a doctorate in chemistry. And one time he came to my house and he was crying. Because
Crying?
yeah, and it's a man, because he was like, I came here because of the war in my country, yeah, and that war led me here. And now I'm in a place whereby, as much as my papers are recognized, I'm not getting a job in this field. Everywhere I go, some people just make you feel less than. And that's a problem, because you come here, you have the education, you're willing and ready to work, you're willing to put in the job, you're willing to learn the language, you're basically thirsty to make your life better. Because once you come here, you're a toddler, your life has started from zero. There's no other way how to put it. So you end up like me, doing jobs that you never thought you would ever do in your life. I have worked, let me just say I've done let's say.
So what have you done as a university graduate for work in Germany?
Oh,
Let's start counting.
I have washed dishes in restaurants.
Wash dishes in restaurants. That's what you went to university to do. What else?
Oh, Mama Mia.
Yeah.
And of course,
Don't be shy.
I'm not shy. I'm just laughing because all these experiences, they're just making me like, yay. I have probably worked as a help.
As a help?
Yeah.
Did you work as a cleaner somewhere?
I haven't worked as a cleaner.
Okay.
But when I was doing the helping thing, taking care of kids, it was part of you're taking care of kids.
But that was not your main.
No.
Okay.
You're taking care of other people's kids, which actually was a good thing for me.
But that's working like an au pair.
Yeah, but then I did that.
With your university degree?
With my university degree, and I went to start wiping poo poo. Nyash nyash wiping. And it's funny when you're doing all these jobs, and then someone back at home is just sitting and being like, hey, someone will send me money. I remember one time, one of my colleagues I was working with back at home, he was like, oh, today I'm calling all my friends who are abroad to send me at least €20 or $20. I need to drink today. I need to party. I saw red.
Yeah.
I saw red because I was like, boy, do you even know what I'm doing for a living for me to be able to earn this money? Do you even know? Which jobs did you do as a graduate from Nigeria?
I have a bachelor's degree in history. Mm-hmm. And when I asked them to put it on the European level, they told me, it took a while, but they told me it was equivalent to 2 years of university education here.
What the hell?
So I'm like, I actually that was one of the moments that I really got mad. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh.
I spent 4 years studying so that you could say to me it's worth 2 years of your university education now. So I actually wrote some really not nice letters to the people who did that at that time, because they wrote a motivation about the standard of education and all of that. I'm talking of in the 1990s, which when the education was really high. But so I just thought I'm gonna leave that, and once I was able to speak right and understand enough Dutch, I just went to the university again.
Wow.
Studied something else.
That's impressive.
So we have always been told education is the key that opens all doors. The door that first opened to me when I arrived in Germany was to be a farmer. And not just a farmer in that way, a laborer on a farm, because I was picking cabbage. Picking cabbage. I remember the first time that I went to that cabbage field. We were lined up we were 100 people. And I was before then, I had never in my whole life done any hard physical work.
Wow.
The hardest physical work I ever did before then was to hold a pen.
Welcome to Europe.
And paper. So, but you are in Europe, you needed to eat, you needed to do certain things. So I went there and I was like, I'm going to put on my best effort. So I went there. We started. I just kept my head on the ground did that thing in my head. I was very fast doing all of that until somebody came to me, tapped me on the shoulder, and said, like, you need to be faster. I'm in my head like, I'm really very fast. He said to me, look at where everybody else was. And everybody else was like 100 meters ahead of me.
Whoa.
I'm like, whoa. So then I tried again to do it very fast and do it very fast. In total, I was allowed to do that work for 4 hours. And then that supervisor said, no, this is not going to work. Send me home.
Wow.
And I was sick. And I wasn't sick, but I laid in bed for 2 weeks because parts of my body that I did not know existed were aching. I woke up, I said to people, just leave me alone. I don't want to go do this again. But after 2 weeks, you are like, I didn't come to Europe to sleep.
Yeah, true.
And this pain I must get over. But I think it was just a shock of the physicalness of that work. So now I had to switch my head to zero. Like, forget everything you knew before. You are now going to have to do this like that. So I did that work for a couple of years. Not only that, I became actually a farmer, a real farmer. One farmer in Germany actually adopted me. So I became a midwife to cows that were giving birth, putting my hand into the cow to help to that's what I went all of those years to school in Africa for, to be able to do that. And then when I came to the Netherlands, what did I do? I worked in factory. I became a baker, baking cakes. And then afterwards, and once I thought, like, I'm able to speak this language. And that's the other thing, once you've studied and you are ambitious a bit, you know which level. Some of this work, we could say what we want to say about them. Some of them pay actually well, but it is just like you are thinking, like, I'm better than this.
Yeah, facts.
So then that was when I just went into youth work, which was no longer physical work, but just work that a bit of my brain was required to youth work. And then that was when I thought, like, let me go back to school again.
Yeah.
Did another university degree in Dutch. And then, I rose a bit on the ladder, and then quit, and then started a business for myself.
Yeah, I would say, like,
And then now I'm
flexible.
doing my business, but having also the security of a paid job on the side.
Yeah, I think that is impressive to start with, because it's just giving people like me hope that there is actually hope here. Because sometimes the kind of jobs you do, like, they will humble you. They will humble you to the bone. And when you come here, you don't have a choice at the beginning. Those are things you never thought you'll ever do in your own home country, because you're like, okay, I have a degree, so why should I? But when you come here, the way you say it, you forget everything that you've learned. But one thing I actually appreciate about our education system is our education system in Africa allows us to be flexible. Why am I saying that? It's because I'm not trying to be discriminative, but I've seen how we adapt to environments very fast. It doesn't take us, it takes us a lot of pain, a lot of endurance, but we actually adapt very fast. And I've seen the other side, like my white colleagues, and they have a fixed way of doing things. They're not flexible at all. You'll find like 1 or 2% who are flexible, like who can be able to adapt. If it's not done according to the book, then they're not going to do it. You see something, you're flexible. You're like, I don't know, you're like a rubber. You can be able to adapt in every situation, in any environment. You can be able to learn on the job and do it. Well, I'm like, on the other side, when I look at it, I'm like, I appreciate that. Being born, being raised there and coming here as an adult, I have a very different perspective. And I also have met people from different African countries. And if there's anything, when they tell you what they're doing and what they studied back at home, you're like, damn, wow. Like, you can be that adaptive. You can be that adaptive.
On the other hand, but this is just a digression. Why are we able to adapt to, me having a university degree, working as a farmhand, you having a university degree, working as washing plates in a restaurant?
Yeah.
Why can't we do that in Africa? Why do we come and do that in Europe? I mean, I'm just digressing. It's just a food for thought for our listeners and viewers. What do you think about that?
Yeah, good question. I
Yeah.
have my thoughts, but I won't share them. But yeah. So let's talk about like gender roles, identity, and personal growth. Wow, very good topic. Gender roles in Europe. Yeah, okay. I think there's something I like about Europe, actually, and it's the fact that there's no man or woman. Like, yeah, like honestly, like
In what way?
in like
Because when you say that, I'm like, there's no man, there's no
like,
woman.
okay,
All
let
this
me
gender
no,
fluid.
no, let me
Okay.
get deeper. Let me discuss
Okay.
deeper.
Okay,
Let me give
let's
you the
let's
tea.
let's hear you go deep.
So okay, this is what I mean. Yeah, in Africa, like where I come from, the man has a lot of say. Like that is basically gender roles.
Do you mean the
In
man
house-
has a lot of say, or the man has this say and the woman
The
almost
man has
nothing?
this say, this say, like whatever he says goes.
Yeah.
But then when you come to living in Europe, it's different. Because, for example, if you're my husband, I'm working, you're working. For most Europeans, the automatic thing is we're going to help each other in the house. There's nothing as, oh, this is the work of the woman, this is the work of the man. There's nothing like that. It's, I'm coming from work, you're coming from work, so we're going to make this thing work. It's not like the woman to do the cleaning, the washing, the cooking, and no. Everyone like has, we say in German, Aufgabe. Everyone has their own part of what they're supposed to do, and everyone knows what they're supposed to do. So I think I like that aspect. I like that aspect because it just makes people to be more responsible in one way, because back at home, if my mom goes to work and my dad goes to work, yeah, but I would say my dad was more helpful anyway, but I'm just giving an example. Most of the time, the majority of the time, is the wife who's going to go and cook. That's what the wife will do. The wife will come from work, the wife is going to go home and cook, the wife is going to clean. But I think for me, I saw something different with my father because he used to be more helpful. But I have seen women, even back at home, this generation, both the man and the woman, they are working, and the woman has to come and cook. The woman has to come and clean. The man is just sitting and being like, oh, today there's a football match. So, like, I'm
We
waiting.
like our football in Africa.
Like, I'm waiting
Man.
for the food. Like, hey, I'm hungry. You say you're hungry. Yo, go cook. Go cook. Also, me, I'm hungry. So I think I like that about Europe. When we talk about gender roles, I think I like that aspect. Like, we are gonna work as a team. You're gonna help each other.
Yeah, we are talking about the generational
Yeah.
thing about Europe. You living here 3 years, I'm
Yeah.
living
35
longer.
years.
I hear you and I see where you are going, and also because of the age
Yeah.
difference, I can understand where you're coming from. On the other hand, because that was why I said when you said man, there is no man, there is no woman, I was thinking immediately about gender fluidity in Europe.
Yeah.
Because I get you and I appreciate that fact. That we have to commend that people help each other. But on the other hand, are the men in Europe actually men? Are the women actually women? Because what you see is that because we are preaching equality,
Yeah.
people, for me, equality only works when it is connected with capacity.
True.
Meaning, in situations, that's how I've always thought. This has nothing to do with Europe or Africa.
Yeah.
If you, as a woman, has the knowledge, more knowledge of certain things than I do, I have to
Calm down.
take my place and say, go ahead. But if I have more knowledge about certain things than you do, it's better for you not to stand in the way.
True.
So what I see happening at the moment in Europe is, in the name of equality, people are getting in each other's way. People helping each other, great, because I've seen that also in Africa, that I'm like, guy, go do something to help.
Thank you.
Or there are some women that are like, oh, my husband has to, that's the role of the man, has to spoil me, and I'm just sitting there, he's just going to be giving me money, I'm just going to be working. No. So, because if I pay for you, pay your bills, pay everything, then you are part of my furniture. Then because you don't have any other rights to say anything. But if you are contributing, I'm contributing, I don't have any right to demand more. I would love that we do things that we are capable of, that we are not standing in each other's way.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I also say, like, when we talk about gender roles, I'm like, to be honest, there'll never be equality. Let's start from there. But then people don't want to hear that, yeah? Because, for example, when you talk about Germany, there are certain jobs the man will always get paid higher than the woman. You both have the qualification. For example, doctors in Germany, the men are paid higher and the women are paid less than the female are paid less. And that is something that is there. And the explanation is like, the man is gonna be on the job for like a very long time. The woman has to do like maybe take a leave from work because of giving birth and things like that. And this system has been there.
Which I think is a useless way to justify inequality.
Yeah,
because but this is a subject of another discussion, and some people
we'll
watching might think like, this guy is woke.
No.
But I think you should never discriminate against women based on the fact that they're going to go on maternity leave, and you say they don't make a career and the men are going to be there. Look, who is producing the workers of the future? Who is producing the future? So I have always said, you have to even give these women more.
Yeah.
Because they are like the ones who are producing the doctors of tomorrow. All those people, why do we have to discriminate against them? If a woman has to break her career to go and give birth, when she comes back, put her even higher than where she was.
That's true.
Because she's helping the society.
Yeah, but I think
that's me.
It's a topic that we have to go in depth, yeah. But let's talk about growth in Europe, for example, because I would say, like, when we talk about growth, most of us African, we talk about financial growth. That's the only growth we see. But how I see growth is, I'm young, so I see growth in a very different aspect. I not only
generational difference.
Yeah, exactly. Because I see growth as being in a mental state whereby you can be able to be productive. I see growth as being comfortable in your skin, in who you are, in your
but
own
you
identity.
need money to have all those feelings.
I know you need money to have those feelings, but there's that misconception. People are seeking more instead of being contented with what they have. Seeing where you are at the moment. Of course, you are. It doesn't mean you're not ambitious. You're ambitious, but can you learn to be grateful of the small that you have right now and to work with what you have? Because if you don't, one thing I've learned about you, you can easily get into depression, and it can lead you.
You will get into depression.
Yeah, you can easily, because number one, there's no human contact. Let's start from that. This is not a place whereby you back at home. I will wake up in the morning, go buy bread and buy like milk, and the person serving me will be like, "Hey, good morning. How was your night? Did you sleep sleep nice. Yeah. Did you see the news yesterday? That human contact is not there. In fact, nowadays in the supermarket, there's the new thing that they've introduced whereby you can also pay with your card. You don't have to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
So you pack everything for
Europe
yourself.
for you.
You don't have to basically say hello to anyone. No. So there's no human contact. So myself, I'm looking at growth in a very different angle. I'm looking at physical growth, mental growth, spiritual growth, not just the financial bit. And I feel like one has to start being contented with the little that they have. Of course, you're being ambitious, but be realistic. And also take care of your own mental space. Because you only have you. This is the country whereby people die in the house and they're not found in like an year, 6 months, 3 months.
Some people die 3 years. Nobody knows they died. And they have families.
Imagine. So, how do you define growth? Your own way of defining growth.
Yeah, for me, growth is something that came in bits. You know, it depends on the stage you are in your journey in Europe. Because when you arrive first, you just want to struggle to survive.
Facts.
And the pressure of surviving here, the weather, everything, and then going, the people at home expecting that you are going to be, you know, the one to solve all their financial problems, and you become the ATM of a whole community.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. So at that time, you are not in a place to think of growth. You are just thinking money, money, money. You become a modern day slave, not only to Europeans, but also to your people there, because you just have to, to produce. You just have to, they have a certain expectation that you have to meet. But, and that's a big but, at a point you will have to create a space for you that you're not going to go mad. That's when the growth, as you say, comes in, because you've already mentioned it. There's a loneliness in Europe that only Europeans can survive.
Facts.
When you come from Africa, where you are in a community, that person you are talking about, everything is geared in Africa towards being together, looking after each other spiritually. We don't know it we don't appreciate it until we come here. And that's a good thing. But then you come here, that's what you said. Because I used to know for a fact people who go to supermarkets here, people who go to the supermarket so that they could talk to the cashier. But now, like you said, they have even taken that away from them. So you just go to the shelf, pick something, scan it, do that, and you go. You cannot talk to the scan. So that is when you need to find a place in yourself to cool down, to say, hey, for people who are spiritual in terms of religion, they will still find their places in the churches, in the mosque, in other places of worship. A person like myself goes deep into myself, because I'm not into any of those, let me be nice to them, foreign religions.
Okay.
I have my own way of searching for my spiritual self and spiritual growth, that I'm able to find a little peace in myself, because we all need that in Europe. Otherwise, because you are living here 3 years, you might not know of those incidents, but in the 30 plus years that I've been living here, many Africans have committed suicide. Not only that, many of them are in psychiatric homes. Because you just see somebody that you know just turn crazy all of a sudden. Because they have everything, but you have also nothing.
That's true. It just has a way of like changing you. That I've noticed, like honestly, I have noticed, because being here, I've gone through a lot. And and
you are just 3 years here, and you've gone through a lot. Wait until you spend 30 more years.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because we are we are deep with each other.
Yeah.
So when I say I've gone through a lot, I've gotten to a point whereby it reached to a point where I told myself I have to make a personal, sober decision that I have to take care of my mind. Because that's all I got. You know, I have to take care of my health. Because one thing that people don't know, when you're actually under stress, you can never be productive.
No.
And stress is like any other disease because it eats you and it eats you bad. It's like a cancer, you know. It eats you internally and it eats you bad. So I made sure, and I still make sure, I make a conscious decision to basically take time being with myself and doing the things that give me joy. Being with people that bring me joy. You know, engaging in things that I feel they are giving me joy. And just sitting back with myself and asking me the most important question. Because the truth of the matter is, for example, if you're stressed with work, a good example is when you die, what happens? Tomorrow they're going to replace you like you never existed. So can you just take a beat to take care of your own health? When you're actually sick, because I've seen people who are sick, they are saying, oh, I'm sick, but they still come to work and you see someone is about to faint, you know, like pushing themselves, that African spirit. Yeah, I'm here to work, I'm here to. But again, don't forget, when you exhaust yourself too much, there's no one to take care of you.
No.
Your siblings are not here to come and say, oh, I'm gonna cook for you. I remember there was a time I was sick in the house. Let me tell you, I was sick. I had to wake myself up, go cook for myself. You're weak. I was crying. I was crying because I'm like, yo, if I was, let's say, back at home, there are people who are going to cook for me. You know, there are people who are going to be concerned. But who is concerned? Who is concerned about you? So when I say people, we should take a step back because I say money is not everything. There is more to life than money. So when I look at growth, I don't focus too much on the financial growth. And I'm going to put that also in the dating aspect where we are going to actually, because I want to know this.
Now we're going on dating
Yeah,
now.
we're
Okay.
going on dating and relationship because most of our people come here with the mentality like, oh, if you have a white man, I want a rich white man. I want a white man who's like can give me everything, can spoil me and do all these things. And to them, that's okay. Like, the financial aspect means everything. But is it? Is it everything? Do you just want a rich white man, or do you want a human being that you can work with? Do you want a human being that you can love each other and love on each other? You know? Like, those are the kind of things I always ask myself because I'm like, at this particular point in my life, I don't think being rich is the goal. I think being wealthy and healthy is the goal. Not being rich for me. I don't know.
I like that. Not being rich is the goal. Being wealthy
Yeah.
and healthy.
Yeah, no, that's the goal.
And you can be wealthy without being rich.
Yeah.
Because one is money and one is soul and
body,
fulfillment.
mind.
But that soul and the mind, how much of your groceries is it going to pay?
I get what you're saying, but I'm not saying that you don't be productive. You're working, but also take care of yourself. For example, the industry I'm working in, someone will say they're sick and someone has to fill in. Will you be the person who always fills in for other people? And you have, for me, I have 8 days of like free days. And I always say from these 8 free days that I have, I can only offer one. 7 are mine. Like, that one is me saying, okay, I can compromise. Because at the end of the day, you don't have free time. So what time do you have for yourself? What time do you have to invest in your own talents? What time do you have to invest in feeding your mind, feeding your soul, looking at the things that can bring you something? Because at the end of the day, if maybe your goal is to be there forever, okay. But if your goal is to diversify, what time do you have to learn about new skills? So I'm talking about taking care of your mind, taking care of your soul, taking care of your body, you know, and focusing on the things that you know. This is what I want for my future, and this is what I see for my future.
But let's go back to this dating thing, and that's, look, I will keep reminding our people listening and people viewing that I've lived longer than 30 years in Europe. So I'm sorry for the ladies who might be watching and thinking like, oh, I like that guy. I'm no longer on the dating scene. So let's just focus on you. How has the dating scene been? Generation X
Let me say it's
or
Pepe.
Gen Z?
Oh God,
You are Gen
I'm a
Z.
90s kid, yo.
Yeah, what's the difference? Tell
I'm
this old man.
90s.
Is
No,
that a Gen Z or is that a
me, I'm a 90s baby.
are you a Generation X or Generation X or you are Gen Z?
I'm not Gen Z is 2000 babies.
I don't know.
Those are
I
2000.
see
I'm
all
a
those.
90s
I
baby.
see
I'm
all those
actually
alphabets. I don't know what
early
those are.
90s. I'm an early 90s baby.
Yeah, but
I
what
don't
does
know what
what?
they call us. We call ourselves the 90s kids.
Yeah, but that's Gen Z
No, Gen Z is
or
2000.
Gen X.
X or Y, I
I
don't
think
know.
yeah, all these alphabets.
I
It's
don't
like
know.
LGBTQ generation A B C D E F G H Q.
Yeah, so basically, I would say, I've, I feel, not I feel, I've experienced dating scene in Europe is very difficult for me.
What's the difference between dating scene here and
You know,
there?
like back at home, there are dating apps, but they're not as famous as here. Back at home, there's the human contact. You meet a man or a woman in the car, like going home, and if they like you, they will ask you out. Someone will see you, someone will like you, someone will come to you and be like, "Oh, I want your number. Can we talk? Can we go on a date?" and things like that. It doesn't matter, man or woman. Yeah, you go to a restaurant, that happens a lot. You go to a park, yeah, it's just something that happens a lot. When I came to Europe, one, I think the fact that there's no human contact like that, so it's hard. And number two, I feel like most European men, especially I think German, they're very shy. They will like you, they will show you eye contact, but they will not approach you.
And what's
Hardly.
stopping you from approaching them? If you like somebody.
No. I'm just saying, like, hardly.
Okay.
Because I come from a very different background, whereby the man is the one who takes the lead. In Europe, when we date, we are gonna do most probably 50-50. Like, you bring something on the table, I bring something on the table. In the African tradition and the African culture, the man takes care of the woman and the family and whatever. So you end up, the man is actually insulted when you as a woman, you say, "Let me pay for this date." The man is like, "Are you insulting me as a man?" But here the guy is like, okay, no problem, pay. So there is that thing.
Do you pay when you go out on a date with a European?
I do.
I still find that, and that's the African in me, African man in
Yeah.
me. I still find that very strange till this day. Also talking about generation.
Yeah.
When I ask, if I say to a white person, "Oh, let's go and eat somewhere," it's the same way I'm thinking in Africa. Ask that friend or
Out.
somebody, "Let's go and eat somewhere."
I'm gonna
That is
pay.
on me. But actually, we make that joke in the Netherlands. When friends go out to eat, everybody is also not just eating, but they have their calculator with
Yeah.
them. So when the food is finished, everybody is like, "Okay, this is what I ate. I ate one shrimp, one this," and based on that is how they are going to determine how much everybody is going to pay. And we have something here called tiki. So tiki is, if God forbid you didn't bring your bank pass, bank card with you, somebody's just going to say, "Don't worry, I'm going to pay." And then you think, "Oh, nice, like an African, this person has paid everything." And then seconds later, you get out of the restaurant or wherever, you get an app like, "Can you pay me back this thing?" Send a link where you have to pay. All of those things. We
Wow.
call it the tiki.
So I don't know, like, for me, I feel like there's a lot of difference. And also I would say dating white and dating black is somehow different. I would say that on
What's the
two pers-
difference?
when you date our black people, there's this thing of culture, like the culture. They expect you as the woman to do this, to do that, and you guys are still in Europe. That doesn't work. that doesn't work in the system. Like, I think that aspect does not work in the system. The other thing which I would say is a positive on their side is like they will provide. They
Who?
don't mind.
The African.
The African man doesn't mind to provide, doesn't mind to go all the way to do that, like his role as a man. But there's also the downside of it, whereby you as a woman, you cannot exhaust yourself because you're from a shift. You know, there's that aspect. Again, I would say dating white is like, oh God, it's a whole book. Some people to this date, they see you as an experiment. I remember one time someone was like saying, oh, when you come see me, and the person sent me a photo. I'm not going to say if it's a man or a woman. We never know. My gender is so. It is what it is. So I'm just saying the person sent me a photo. And the person told me, when you come to see me, I would like you to have this.
And what
like,
picture was that of the
woman,
private part?
No, a woman wearing some stockings.
Okay.
You know, with some heels and things like that. I'm like, okay, fine. Wait, hold up. Number one, you're not buying these things for me. So you can't demand me to wear things that you're not providing. Okay? Number two, you've seen some kinky thing that you want to try. You're sending me, asking me if you can try that. Hello? Like, we are not that deep. And whatever I'm saying is like, it's making me like flabbergasted. I'm like so surprised. Myself, I'm like, what in the world? What in the world is this? But then they are open to the sex conversation. I feel like I come from a more conservative. It's conservative because topics like sex, we don't talk about them so openly.
I always say there are two things Africans don't do. We never have sex and we never die.
So
See, life and death doesn't happen in Africa.
So I'm like, but the thing was wild. Like, that thing was wild because I asked if it was someone of your race, would you actually do that? And like, no, I wouldn't. And I'm like, why? Oh, they're not so open to that conversation, which I knew was a lie. So I'm like, I have boundaries. I have boundaries. And I'm like, it's not easy to date here. Because also, I feel like there's genuine love, but to find that genuine love is not also easy because everything has just been monetary. We are thinking about monetary most of the time. I know the fact that no man wants a burden and no woman wants a burden, but relationship here is 50-50. So most of it is monetary. If we get a house, we are going to pay the rent 50-50. We are going to buy the food 50-50. We are going to do. So I'm like, everything is so monetary to
everything is transactional.
Yeah, it's basically transactional. It's that genuine love, that genuine affection. I don't know. I feel like it's lacking. Maybe because of the culture. I don't know, but I find it very difficult when I'm like dating people from this other side. I don't know.
Which other side? You mean Europe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
I think that is cultural.
I was just talking to one of my girlfriends and we basically came to the same conclusion. Our African men, when they are here, they will expect to treat us the way they treat us when we were back home. But when they are with the white ladies, they treat them better than the way they treat us. They, like, you will see, even like, I'm gonna tell you that you will see someone will be like, oh, opening the doors, being a gentleman, touchy, all that, But hey, see a man with an African woman. My friend, you will even see the man is there. The woman is here. And you're like, hey, what is happening? Like, yeah, there's no lovey-dovey. And then you see them with the other side. You're like, okay. So there's this double standards, so to say. And it's like, it's something I noticed, my friend noticed, and not only me, because it's something like we ask each other. I've asked a couple of ladies, like, do you see that or you don't? They're like, hey girl, that's why I don't date my people here. I would rather date European because I know they're gonna treat me better more than the way I'm gonna be treated with someone from my own, my own place. So I'm like, There's also that aspect.
You see, this thing about mental enslavement is deep and it's real.
Yeah, it is.
Because what I'm saying from that is someone, and I know everything you've just said, and there is no generational difference there. They were doing that in the 90s. They were doing that in the year zeros. They were doing that also later, and people who would treat in Europe their fellow black people like shit
Facts.
and treat Europeans like they are still God when that European is not feeding you.
Facts.
When it's your African person who is going to be with you in your times of need, give you the emotional support and all that. And it's deep, this mental slavery that we have been subjected to. And I see that. I've always wondered why people do that. I see that in Europe. But on the other hand, I see some of our people also, they also have low expectations of themselves.
Facts.
They are saying like, that's what you do with your European woman. Don't come and do that with me. I'm like, I want to open the door for you. No. I have my own hand. A man should not be like that. A man should be like a man and whatever.
No.
So it's this thing is deep about how people have been, and Africans have been made to lose their own worth or not to know their own worth.
Yeah, true.
So you have to always do that what the European wants, and do that what you think the African wants. And what the African wants in your head is to be treated in a lower kind of way because that's what we are used to.
But I think also there's this other aspect of, like, for example, I told someone no and the person was aggressive, and it's not the first or the second or the third time. That has happened to me so many times. And the person is like, oh, so you think these Oibos are gonna treat you better? Oh, fuck you. And using such kind of insulting words just because you said no. And I feel that thing also, it doesn't, okay, I know not everyone is the same. That is something I'm aware of. But, even if in my mind I was thinking of giving you a chance, you're already out. You're already out because, number one, you're not a gentleman. You're insulting. And again, when someone tells you no, they mean no. So you can try your other way to show me why I should say yes, instead of going the insulting way or going the aggressive way. And I'm like, probably is the environment and whatever they are going through, because I believe here there are so many triggers. So this environment is a test. I always say it's like every day you're working in a test, because you're gonna be triggered almost every day. So I feel like the aggression also in some of our men, on even some of our women, the aggression comes out of the experiences they have had in their environment, because the environment has shaped them, and it can be positive and also in a negative way. But that thing really made me, like, it pissed me off, to be honest. And also there's also this aspect, out of experience, by the way.
You've had a lot of experience in 3 years.
I've had a lot of experience, so I feel like we are all individuals, but everyone lies. But I feel like our African people lie a lot. Why am I saying this? Yeah, there's this person who asked me out. I always said no. I never liked him. I never did. So
He's watching now, so you know yourself.
Sorry, your problem. So this person, apparently, he goes to the same church with my friend. This person had a wife.
Okay.
And kids.
Okay.
But this side, he was saying a different story.
Okay.
But then my gut was always telling me, don't even. This one is a lie. Because I tend to listen to my heart a lot. I tend to listen to my intuition. But I just feel like dating, whether you're dating a man or you're dating a woman, Altogether, it's just complicated here. So, on that note, I
Mm-hmm.
decided to focus on career and just build myself because I'm like, you know what? At the right time, everything will fall into place.
With career, is that also not a problem in this? Because once you are having a career, that means you are climbing up the social ladder also. And then men, I know some African men, they are intimidated by a woman who has
I know.
a higher status in their eyes than them. But
Ah,
it's also that same um, is true with some white people also. So if you are building your career, aren't you scared that at the end of the day you're just going to have that career like a medal hanging on your neck, but there's not going to be a partner around you?
I'm not scared, to be honest. I've reached a point in my life whereby nothing scares me. I'm not scared of anything. And like I said, I've come to the level whereby I know who I am. I'm true to myself, and I have boundaries, and I have what do I say? How do you call them? Like I have standards. So if you're my person, I don't care whether you're a man or a woman. Like if you are mine, you have to open that door. You have to take my calls. We have to do date nights. We have to be. Whatever I want is hard to find because you're not asking for too much, but to some people you're asking for too much because I'm not only asking for a relationship, I'm asking for friendship. I'm asking for trust. I'm asking for someone I can be vulnerable with and vulnerable to. I'm asking for someone I can be able to explore, not just explore sexually, but also how can we explore our lives together? You know, that is what I'm looking for. So if I'm not gonna get that, I'm not gonna settle for something less just because of this mentality that, oh yeah, when you have career, yeah, no man is gonna want to be with you, or yeah, no man. A man who wants you and a man who can be able to be with you, a man who really loves you and cares for you, he will meet you where you are. There is nothing like, oh, this woman is too powerful for me. That is a man without ego and a man without self-esteem. So if you don't have self-esteem in yourself, that's your problem. It's a you problem. You have to work on yourself. But a man who knows his worth, because it doesn't mean just because I'm gonna focus on the career, I'm gonna look down on my man or my woman. It doesn't mean that. It just means what I want is I want friendship. I want cooperation. I want coordination. So I have to treat you with mutual respect. I have to treat you with love. I give you some TLC, some tender love and care. It's not like, oh, just because I earn more than you, or go to hell. No.
Yeah, a lot of people, we have been conditioned to think money is status. Because at the end of the day, whether you are earning, I always say, if you are earning more than I do,
So
that's your
what?
problem. That's money problem. But I want to see if your head is better than mine, if your heart is better than mine. So I think people who worry, men or women, like, oh, my partner is higher than me in terms of salary or whatever, I think they have more than a, a problem. They have many problems.
That's true.
It's psychological. It's
Yeah.
not just emotional. It's yeah. It's not the way it should be.
The last thing we are gonna discuss, and we're gonna keep it short, is just the political aspect because the political view of Europe, it's something else, and like the political view in how they look at us as people who come to this country. So, what's your take? How was it like back in the days?
I think back in those days, we were just like curiosity. People just okay, we put some policies there, but we just let these people do their thing. At that time, you think life is really hard for a foreigner. Life is really hard for an African here. You thought like, whoa, how am I going to go through all of this? And then you see in the years after how things have even become
Was.
was harder and really, really, really bad. In my time, there was nothing like you had to learn the language to integrate. You just lived there for 3 years or 5 years. You got your. If you lived for 3 years and you had already a partner, you got your passport. If you lived here for 5 years and you didn't have a partner, you got your passport. That's how things were regulated at that time. But since about 12 years, you hear about this. You have to do this integration course. You have to follow this language. You must, and you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
We were always thinking it was difficult, and then we saw now it's a political thing. If people want to get votes, the people you have to really put a bad
Name on
put
them.
put a bad sticker on them are people immigrants.
There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the political aspect, and I feel like we will take another day to just go in depth, because that thing is so painful to actually watch every other time.
People
and to-
demonizing
yeah,
you are
as in-
sitting there like what. Sometimes you want to shout at the
And
screen.
even like being in a workplace and someone is confidently asking you, why did you come to this country? What were you looking for? We were asking this question, yeah. You say we are bad people, we take your jobs. You guys don't want to do cleaning jobs. You guys don't want to. Most of the people in the nursing department, most of them are foreigners. That is, I think, everywhere.
Everywhere in Europe.
So you guys don't want to do that job because you know what that job entails. So you don't want to do that job.
And not even
Who's
only
gonna be the taxi driver?
not only that, we are taking care of their sick. We are taking care of their old people because they are not also having children. There are no people who are going to take care of these people. We are the experts.
It's crazy though, like the political view of it. You just reminded me that song. You want to bomb.
Yeah.
You got to chill with the big boy.
Yeah.
Like when they go back to Africa, they come and ask us, you want to bomb.
Yeah.
Telling you what to do, how you should do. I'm like, yo, you guys are crazy. I'm Christine Amolo Nyotta, and I was joined with the one and only Femi. And thank you so much for taking part in this conversation. If there is something that resonated with you, please don't forget to comment down there. We want to keep the discussion going. Like and subscribe, and always know, we as African Web TV and the African Narrative Podcast, we have the gist about Africa and what is happening in Europe. Thank you.
I'm a king, oh, yes, I'm a king, oh, I think I'm a king, oh.